Good morning, everyone. So I'm literally just waking up, so I might be a little slow, but I got nudged to pop on here and share with you guys information that's really important as you ascend and you navigate your awakening process. All right. So the first thing is that you know how sometimes you'll talk or you'll say something or you're going to offer your 2 cents or offer constructive criticism, and then it sends people in a defensive posture. You really meant well, but the thing is, there was still an aspect of yourself that was unintegrated. And so the judgment, even though you didn't mean to judge that person, they're going to receive it as such because there was still this underlying energy that hasn't been resolved or dissolved by you. So this is something I've been dealing with since my awakening, really working on bringing those fragments back home, really working on integrating aspects within myself that cause fragmentation, if you will. So it's like it will cause separation in your world. This is just coming to me now. So if you have a lot of fragments within yourself, because we're all like light fragments, yes? So you're on different realities, experiencing different things in parallel universes. But within this dimension, within this body, you have fragments. So it's like a micro to the macro. And the idea is to become and embody all that you are. And this starts to glue all the pieces together. And then when you speak, you're speaking in a cohesive way. So your mental body is aligned with your emotional body, that is then aligned with your spiritual body, that is then aligned with your physical body. So there aren't holes in what you're saying. And this is what mastery is. It's really looking at ourselves and asking ourselves what needs to be cleared or resolved within us so that we can embody our divinity. So I'm sitting here having my coffee this morning and I start getting flooded with all these different visions, and that's why I wanted to do a video. I'm not sure it's going to be a long video, but I feel like this is important information which will help you maneuver some of what you may be dealing with. So I was shown this vision of like a pipe. So let's say that you are the pipe, you are the vehicle, you are the vessel. And then you have muck in this pipe. If you were to run water through the pipe, then the muck would come out and you would see all of that, the dirt, the gunk, all of this, yeah? Now, this is a metaphor for if your body still holds muck, meaning judgment, even though you don't mean to judge. So I'm not saying that you're intentionally judging someone. That's not what I'm suggesting. You might have unconscious aspects within yourself, or you may have imprints, meaning records or traumas or other past life experiences, linear past, that have been imprinted on your vibratory field. Think of them as like patterns, or when you take a branding iron and you stamp a sigil on something or on someone's forehead or something. That's the idea. So you have all these different records or these different imprints that are in your subconscious. So they're being held within your subconscious. And even though you mean well, or you're well intended, that muck is going to kind of trickle into every experience that you have. So as you're speaking, sorry you guys, I'm just going to put this on Do Not Disturb. So as you're speaking, right, you're going to offend people because you haven't done the shadow work that needs to be done in order to resolve those traumas or those other aspects that are probably just versions of you that are experiencing another reality in this now moment. But they have issues just like we have issues. It's all interconnected, and it's this big jigsaw puzzle that we have to solve. And all these fragments are within yourself because every reality is inside of you. Every dimension is inside of you. I remember when I first awakened, I used to just explore with my mind and my brain all the time. And I was lying down in bed one night and I said, Sirius, and one part of my brain started vibrating. And then I said, Arcturus, and a different part of my brain started vibrating. And then Pleiades, and a different part. And then I went into Andromeda. It was so cool. And that was confirmation at the time that everything resides within us. So the vision I was shown was, if you have muck in your pipe, that muck is representative of aspects within yourself that haven't been integrated. And as a result of this, when you speak, you're going to offend people. Now, the energy that you are broadcasting holds all of that. It has to. Because how else can your higher self or your guides or your angels get your attention but to have them be mirrored back to you in your physical world? So you're the pipe, you have this muck in it. Everything that you touch, everything that you engage in is going to get hit by the muck. It's going to get affected by the muck. And that's then going to be mirrored back to you, kind of like served on a platter, and you're going to go, oh, wow. Obviously, I have a part to play in this because, and again, it's not like an intentional part. You don't mean to. It's inadvertent. So you're inadvertently kind of smacking yourself in the face because you're carrying an energy that then has to mirror back to you or has to be reciprocated in order for you to make the adjustment. We are like spiritual chiropractors. That's how I think of it. I kind of see my higher self as my energetic chiropractor, and it's always showing me what I need to bring awareness to. And the second that I bring awareness to it, that's it. The healing begins, or the DNA starts to reform itself, and there's a rewiring process that you go through. So we don't need to adjust ourselves. Yeah, from one perspective, you could say that we're doing it. I see it more as a co-collaborative effort where you're working together with a higher aspect of yourself, even though you are that higher aspect of yourself. But you may not feel like that higher aspect of yourself when you roll out of bed in the morning. Like myself, I'm feeling very human right now, but I'm still connected to my higher self. And then when you meditate, you could say that you become the higher self, or maybe you'll choose to just split yourself and have a conversation. Anyways, I'm digressing. But my point is, your higher self has to shine a light. It's like a spiritual flashlight on everything that is still held within your DNA, within your divine record. And within your divine record, you have all these different experiences. Some of them are wonderful. Some of them were quite traumatic. It includes all of the times that you were killed. It includes all of the times that you were married. It includes all of the times that you had superpowers that you can now reconnect into. In India, they call them cities, and we have them. We can bilocate, we can trilocate, we can project our consciousness elsewhere. We can communicate with other beings when we transition ourselves into a plasmic state through the Kundalini breath or through our prana, and then we're in a different, everything feels like jello, and now you're communicating with all these other beings. So you're constantly matching frequency, and then frequency is always matching you, which is why I'm saying that think of the frequencies in your body as little magnets. Okay? They're little magnets, but they're so powerful. And if you have a frequency of unresolved trauma, it's going to magnetize to you experiences that you then need to shed light on and resolve so that you can embody more of your divinity. The other download that I was shown literally like 20 minutes ago was that if you have a piano that hasn't been tuned and it needs a tuning, it doesn't matter what note you hit, it's going to hurt your ears. It's going to be painful to listen to. So you might be a beautiful piano and there's nothing wrong with you. You are a beautiful piano, my bad. You are a beautiful piano and there's nothing wrong with you. But because the piano hasn't been tuned, everything you say is going to sound like a jab, or it's going to sound like judgmental. So mastery is about resolving those issues. And if you're not able to just yet, you can manage. I call it managing your demons. You can manage them to where you're in a lane of objectivity. in a lane of neutrality, of non-polarity. And, people say to me, can I work with the healer if they have issues? Yes, you can. Because maybe that healer has mastered themselves to the degree where even though they still have issues, because we all do, and they're not issues necessarily, it's how you choose to perceive it, they're the impetus for our expansion. So if you choose to look at your quote-unquote issues as something that is impeding your evolution, then it will. But if you see them as the driving force that is continually motivating you and encouraging you to stretch yourself, then maybe those issues aren't issues. They're the contrast that you need in this now moment to be able to stretch into other dimensional realities and perceptions. Everything is a matter of your perception. So they are issues, and then if you were to flip the coin, they're not issues. And you get to select how you want to perceive it. And sometimes you'll say they're issues, and that's okay, because that's how you're feeling in that now moment. So if you have this piano, it doesn't matter how you play it, it's gonna hurt the ears. It's gonna be like nails to a chalkboard. So you are a wonderful divine being of love and light. You're a universal being of love and light. But when you play your piano, or when someone plays you, or you get the notes out, it's not going to sound right. So your vibration is constantly being reciprocated, because that's your higher self's way of getting you to draw your attention to that which has yet to be integrated, or addressed, or cleared, or released. Does that make sense? But yes, you can work with healers if they've mastered their ability to manage their emotions. In many ways, when a channeler is channeling, they step aside. And that informational energy is still streaming through very clearly. Does the channeler still have things that they're dealing with in their life? I'm sure they do. I can't speak for them, but I'm sure that they do. What makes someone a great channel or a great translator, because I see myself as both. I feel like I channel when I'm meditating because I'm in a complete trance. And then when I'm sharing messages, I'm more of a translator because I'm channeling energy, but then I'm decoding the codes. I'm picking them apart and then sharing them in a recognizable form for you guys, and in a relatable form for you guys. It's still channeling though. So what makes someone a good channeler, a seasoned channeler, is when they're able to practice neutrality and refine themselves all day long. This becomes their full-time job. It's funny because I was on the phone with a client yesterday, and they said to me, how can I differentiate between malevolent entities when I meditate and benevolent entities? And I thought that was a brilliant question. And I kind of reframed it for them in a way where it was like, yes, there are such a thing as malevolent entities and benevolent entities, but my approach that I prefer is if you don't swing like a pendulum from one polarity to the next, and you are steadfast in your spiritual walk, you are assuming that objective perspective, then none of those entities are bad. You see, what happens is you will sometimes connect yourself telepathically to a reptilian, let's say, or you might connect to an angel of the highest order. That angel has such a potent frequency, such a high frequency, that it's going to trigger your darkness, meaning those aspects within yourself that have yet to be resolved, and then you're going to project onto that entity that is malevolent. I hope that wasn't too much. Are you following? Okay. So I'm laughing because I just saw a girl in my third eye who was like, yes, and she said it out loud. Anyways, So we're amazing, right? Our operating systems are amazing. Our multidimensional telepathic communication, it's like it's so fast now, there's no lag. So you can, it's kind of like having a heads up display. I feel like I always have one of those heads up display and I'm aware of everything that's going on. It's really awesome. Um, Anyways, so I was saying that sometimes the energies that we channel can be so high frequency that it can scare you, and then you'll project onto that energy that it's demonic or diabolic, and it's not. It's mirroring in you your own fears. So I always I always say that I have a lot of friends in the cosmos because I stopped judging entities as good or bad. It's okay to do so for sake of referencing or having a point of reference or compartmentalizing different energies, but it's still dualistic in origin. So the idea is to sign out, just like you would sign out of Facebook or Instagram, you sign out, even though we never do that anymore. You sign out of the dualistic construct that is making you put a thumb on something. You're trying to define something as good or bad. What makes someone a great channeler or a great energy reader is when they can take the overview and see every incoming energy as being respective to the situation that you're in, so that you can make the necessary adjustment to then vibrate yourself into a higher octave of consciousness. But I loved that person's question yesterday, because sometimes we will deem energies, or we will list them as being bad or good or evil or angelic. And from one perspective, you can say that yes, there are entities that have agendas, and they want to push those agendas because in many ways, all entities have agendas. Like, everyone is out for something. Everyone has a vested interest in their own expansion. But as long as there's an equivalent exchange, then it's okay, because both parties are learning something. Or there's a takeaway for both parties. It's a win-win. There will always be an agenda, no matter who you're dealing with. Even if it's the Pleiadians, they're learning through us, so there's an agenda there. But then we're learning through them, so there's an agenda there. So an agenda isn't always a negative thing. Okay? So I know I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent, but my point was that I love that client's question. I always say, mastering yourself, I don't always say, I'm saying it now. Mastering yourself is about being in that non-dualistic, taking a non-dualistic perspective or a position, and then seeing everything as a friend. So you may not want to attract a situation that's causing you a lot of discord, but is it fair to say that it's no coincidence or accident that you've attracted that? Yes, it would be fair to say that there's a frequency that's being held within your vibrational structure that is acting as a magnet to then draw to you that particular experience, so that you can shine a light on something that was hidden from your view. I wish I could repeat that, but I can't. Welcome to channeling. So there are certain things you will attract that are very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And they're going to cause disturbance. But that disturbance is maybe causing you to slow down, because you're supposed to take on a new course of action, or you're supposed to shift your patterning, and the universe is getting your attention because now is time to do that. We don't want you to put it off anymore. And whenever that happens, I usually celebrate it, because it's my opportunity to get in sync with something that is now ready to merge with me, or is a new timeline that I'm now ready to be birthed into. So the vision I'm getting now is like when you're in those action movies, you might have them like crawl on top of a train, right? And they're fighting each other, and then there's another train that passes by and they jump on it. You can call it like a node point or something, but you're jumping from one timeline to the other, and the train is like a symbolic for those timelines. And this will happen sometimes. You're running a pattern over and over and over again, and you're replaying a story and over and over and over again. And the universe gives you wiggle room because you're still learning through that experience. But eventually, I believe that we are coded to then make a change because we're predisposed to a certain evolutionary process, and different people have different processes. But when it's time, your universe is like, all right, we need to throw you on that other train. And we need you to finally pay attention to what is being brought forward so that you can make the shift. So my message today is, you may not mean to hurt someone or send them into a defensive posture when you speak, but if that's happening, perhaps consider that your higher self is wanting you to do more shadow work, is wanting you to clear some of that judgment that you may be unaware of. And we're constantly piecing all these fragments together as the masters and the alchemists of our reality, so that when we speak, everything comes out aligned. It's not like a spine or a back that's all out of whack. And it's like when you speak, it's like, whoop, you're getting hit here and here and here and here. No, it's a straight line. Everything is coming out coherently. Everything is cohesive. And then it gets really interesting when you can say, okay, oh, this is just hitting me now. This is great. When you speak, or when you're about to say something and you go, wait, I think that's going to come out wrong. So you're having that self-talk in your mind, which is really a conversation with your universe, with your higher self, with your guides. And you're saying, you know what? I'm going to hold off right now because I can see that I haven't integrated this yet. So I'm not going to say anything. And when I go home, I'm going to work on that. And I'm going to breathe love and light into that aspect of myself. And your breath acts as the glue to bring these pieces back together. And then the next go around, or the next time you see that person, you might be able to say it, but it's going to come out so smooth. So that's a big part of our discernment here, is discerning when to speak and when not to speak. And I've become really good at this. I'm like, okay, I think what I'm about to say is going to come out in a way that might hit them or smack them upside the face. And if that does that, that's going to be reciprocated. And I'm going to get smacked upside the face and it's not going to feel good. It's a boom. It's a ricochet effect. All right. So I'm going to hold off. I'm going to go home. I'm going to work with this energy and integrate. And then we'll see where I'm at the next time. But when we embody our divinity, when we genuinely have no more judgment, then when you speak, it won't be taken personally because you've done the work. All right? So let's clear the muck in the pipe. I know that right now a lot of you are dealing with older imprints or older energies that were deeply, deeply buried in your energy field. I'm talking about things that originate back to lifetimes ago, the stuff that we never wanted to deal with because it wasn't quite time yet, so we kind of tucked it away in our fields or in the basement of our DNA or in the drawers of our DNA, and we tucked it away because it wasn't time, because we were busy raising children or we were busy, healing another aspect of who we were. And now all these energies are emerging so that we can once and for all clear them and resolve them from within. And I know for a fact that this is happening at an accelerated rate. We're feeling so much. There's so much that's being triggered in us. But see them as an opportune moment or an opportune time to really go within and commune with your higher self. Have a conversation. Should I speak right now? Should I hold off? All right, how can I meditate on this? How can I clear this? And open it up, because whenever you have this, whenever I say, what can I do? And there's a question inside of myself, the answer is quickly revealed. But when I think I know it all, it sometimes takes a lot longer. And I even see now spiritual teachers who think they know it all, and it comes across kind of like a God complex. And they interrupt everyone all the time. And it's like, cool, we get it. You can predict what that person's going to say, but that's still not gracious. Still, like that other person is still an aspect of yourself, and you're not letting them get a word in. Hold a space. Integrate. The greatest masters never stopped doing the work. They never thought they knew it all. So I think that's something to keep in mind. We know, but we don't really know. You get what I'm saying? Like, we know, we have an idea, but we don't really know. Anyways, so that's that. I hope this helped you. I love you guys so much. I hope that you can subscribe. I'm really pleased that I was surprised this morning because I didn't think I'd be doing a video. My guides have been kind of encouraging me to hold off for a little while and just relax and replenish and take care of me. But this felt really right and it felt comfortable, and I'm glad I was able to connect with you all. And yes, let's go ahead and tune our pianos and clear the mucks in our pipe so that that universal energy can flow out of us without any of that judgment, without any of that dirt, without any of that gunk. And then we can become those clear conduits for that amazing universal energy of love and light that can then emanate from the depth of our soul and inspire people around us. And this is our time to become the example, to be those beacons, to be the lighthouse. I'm sending you infinite blessings, infinite love, infinite light, and I hope you can subscribe. That means a lot to me. There's a button right there that's going to pop up. And then also commenting. I love reading through your comments. And yeah, I will see you in another version of the Now. Much love.